Good morning. This AI show tracks today's hottest Reddit posts. Driving, bored, or still awake? Subscribe, and let's start. Hey everyone, let's jump into our top Reddit stories this morning, starting with a post that's really got people talking over in our picks. The title reads, Photos from the USS Abraham Lincoln show small meal portions being served to US sailors. And it comes from user Curiosity786. This post has exploded with over 60,000 upvotes and more than 6,000 comments because the images hit on something pretty relatable and surprising for a lot of folks. If you're looking at the postcard right now, you can see the photos show standard-looking meal trays with what can only be described as very small portions for grown adults doing tough physical and mental work aboard a massive aircraft carrier. There's a bit of what looks like some kind of meat or protein substance, a scoop of pasta, maybe some cold eggs and sides that don't exactly scream hearty meal after a long shift. The USS Abraham Lincoln is one of those enormous Nimitz-class carriers, basically a floating city with thousands of sailors and aviators working incredibly demanding schedules to keep everything operational. So, seeing these modest plates has sparked all kinds of reactions, from jokes to genuine concern about nutrition for our service members. People are pointing out the contrast between the huge military budget and these portions that look like they might leave someone still hungry. It's the kind of visual that makes you do a double take, especially when you consider the high-stress environment these sailors are in every single day. The post does a great job of letting the pictures speak for themselves without needing a long explanation. Redditors have been sharing their own military stories, comparing it to MREs or other shipboard food, while others are turning it into memes about government efficiency. Overall, it's a mix of humor and real-world questions about how we support the people protecting our interests at sea. These photos have clearly resonated because they show the everyday reality behind all the high-tech equipment and big headlines. You can't help but feel for the sailors staring down at those trays, wondering if that's really all there is, especially after putting in 12-hour days or more. The discussion is still going strong, with everyone from veterans to civilians chiming in on what it all means.
One top comment from Mr. Braun with nearly 19,000 upvotes nails it in one short line, saying, "This is what $1 trillion a year buys you." The sarcasm is strong with this one, and it really captured the mood of the thread. They're highlighting the massive United States defense spending, which is indeed in the hundreds of billions annually, and contrasting it with these small sailor meals that look far from luxurious. The comment blew up because it perfectly sums up the frustration a lot of people feel when they see the photos. Replies piled up agreeing with the sentiment, or adding their own takes about where all that money actually goes. Some users defended the military, saying logistics at sea are complicated, and this might not be the full picture, while others ran with the joke, turning it into memes about budget priorities. It's insightful because it takes a simple photo and turns it into a bigger conversation about value and spending, without getting too heavy. This single line got thousands of people interacting and shows why Reddit comments can be just as powerful as the original post itself. In a thread full of long rants, this short quip stood out and got rewarded with all those upvotes for good reason. Another highly upvoted comment comes from King Kohishi with over 8,000 upvotes, who described the food as meat-like substance pasta, cold eggs, and soylent beige. This one is both funny and accurate based on the photos. The soylent beige line is a clever reference to those dystopian movie meals that are all the same boring color and texture, and it really fits the visual of these trays. The comment highlights not just the small size, but also how unappealing and repetitive the food looks, which is probably not ideal for morale on a long deployment. People loved it because it captured the visual humor while making a subtle point about quality. The thread filled with similar descriptions, comparing it to school lunches, prison food, or airline meals from the 90s. It's all lighthearted, but does raise real questions about whether sailors are getting the nutrition they need for their demanding jobs. This comment added some much-needed comedy to what could have been a purely negative discussion and helped keep the vibe on Reddit in that classic, sarcastic but insightful sweet spot we all enjoy.
The Navy's trillion-dollar fleet serves meals so tiny they'd barely feed a house cat, leaving sailors to defend freedom on an empty stomach and pure willpower.
Our second story this morning is equal parts adorable and hilarious, coming from the subreddit r/BBQ. User TopArmsSav1651 posted with the title, "Small bird made a huge home in my BBQ," and included a self-text asking if anyone else has ever had this happen before. They figured out that next time, they should probably keep the little lid on top closed to prevent exactly this situation. The post features a gallery of images showing the incredible sight of a small bird that has constructed a massive, elaborate nest right inside the person's barbecue grill. We're talking a huge, well-built structure made of twigs, sticks, and all kinds of nesting materials that completely fills up the space where you'd normally put charcoal or food. It's honestly impressive how much effort the bird put into this project, turning a backyard grill into what looks like a luxury bird real estate development. This post took off in a big way, with over 63,000 upvotes and thousands of comments, because it hits that perfect sweet spot of funny, unexpected, and a little bit frustrating for the grill owner. BBQ lovers on Reddit are admiring the Nest craftsmanship, while also laughing at the idea of discovering this when you finally decide it's time to fire up the grill for burgers. The images showed just how committed our feathered friend really was, with a nest that looks sturdy enough to survive rain, wind, and probably a few startled humans. The original poster seems to be taking it in stride, which adds to the wholesome vibe of the whole thing. People in the comments are sharing their own stories about animals invading their outdoor equipment, from squirrels and smokers to mice in propane tanks. But this bird really went above and beyond. It's a great reminder that if you don't use your barbecue regularly, nature is more than happy to move right in and redecorate. The dedication on display here is next level, and the photos capture every detail of this impressive avian architecture project. Redditors can't stop talking about how the bird basically claimed squatters' rights and turned a cooking tool into a family home. It's the kind of post that makes you smile, even if it means the owner won't be grilling anytime soon until the babies have safely moved out. A standout top comment from imminent_sufferer with 1,400 upvotes says, "That nest is actually impressive though. Looks like they really committed to the project." This captures the universal reaction perfectly, because when you look at the photos, you can't help but be amazed at the size and quality of the construction. The bird didn't just throw a few sticks together, it went all in, creating something that looks professionally engineered for a tiny creature. The comment got so much love because it balances the humor of the situation with genuine respect for the bird's hard work. People replied agreeing that it's better built than some human home projects they've seen, and joking about hiring the bird for their next DIY renovation. It adds a positive spin to what could have been an annoying discovery for the poster, and keeps the thread feeling light and fun. This kind of insightful yet humorous take is exactly why we love Reddit comments sections so much. Another popular comment from CodeStraight8786 with over 1,000 upvotes simply states, "They're BBQ now. Short, sweet, and completely accurate. Once a bird builds a nest that elaborate in your grill, it basically transfers ownership until the next season." The comment resonated because it acknowledges the reality that you're not disturbing that home without becoming the villain of your neighborhood. It got plenty of laughs and awards as people pictured themselves explaining to friends and family why they can't host a cookout this year. The phrase caught on and inspired more jokes about birds sending eviction notices or the grill now being listed on avian real estate sites. This comment perfectly sums up that moment of defeat we all feel when nature wins, and it did so with just 3 simple words.
One little bird turned a backyard barbecue into a 5-star nest resort, proving that nature always wins when you forget to close the lid.
Wrapping up our Reddit morning recap is a meme that's hitting a little too close to home for many, from the subreddit r/set of memes. The title is "It Will Only Get Worse From Here," posted by Capital Wrongdoers 62, and like many meme posts, it has no additional self-text, just the image that does all the talking. This one has climbed to over 55,000 upvotes, with hundreds of comments because it taps into a very current anxiety a lot of people share about technology and the future of work. The meme appears to illustrate how artificial intelligence is making bigger and bigger impacts across different jobs and industries, with the caption suggesting we're only seeing the beginning of these changes. It's that classic escalating format that starts somewhat manageable, but implies things are going to intensify as AI gets more capable. Whether it's creative fields, writing, coding, or other professions, the sentiment is that adaptation is going to be necessary, and the ride might get bumpy. The post resonates because AI tools have been advancing so quickly that even casual observers are noticing the effects in their daily lives and careers. Redditors are using the comments to share both jokes and legitimate worries about what this means long-term for employment and skills that might become obsolete. The humor comes from that dark recognition that many of us feel when we see another headline about AI doing something we thought only humans could do. It's not purely doomer though. As some users point out, there are always new opportunities that come with technological shifts. The image itself is effective at conveying the message without needing paragraphs of explanation, which is why it spreads so effectively across the platform. Discussions range from funny career pivots to more serious talks about education and how we prepare the next generation. This meme is a perfect example of how Reddit can take a trending topic and turn it into something both entertaining and thought-provoking at the same time. With AI continuing to evolve, it feels like this post will only become more relevant as the months go by. The top comment from SuckYouDeduction with over 3,000 upvotes says, "Guess it's time to major in AI adaptation for future-proofing." This is such a smart and timely response because it flips the fear into a practical suggestion that lots of people are probably thinking about. Instead of just panicking about AI taking jobs, the comment suggests we need to study how to work with it, adapt to it, and maybe even build careers around managing or enhancing AI systems. It got so many upvotes because it feels like genuinely good advice wrapped in meme format. The thread exploded with people sharing what they think the hot new majors should be, from AI ethics to prompt engineering or even trades that AI can't easily replace, like plumbing and electrical work. This comment brings a note of optimism and strategy to what could have been a purely negative meme, and it sparks some actually useful discussion in the replies. It's the kind of insight that makes you stop scrolling and think about your own career path for a second, which is pretty impressive for a comment under a meme.
This meme says AI will only get worse at stealing jobs, so maybe it's time to major in complaining about technology while that career still exists.